What's up everyone, I'm Dwayne and I'm a dude with an Autotude, and today I'm with my friend Nick showing off his classic sports car from the 70s. So let me know down in the comments what you think I've got here behind me, but without further ado, let's get into it. In the automotive world, certain cars become legends not just for their performance or style, but for the stories they embody. One such icon is the Datsun 240Z, a vehicle that defined an era and left an incredible mark on automotive history. To understand the 240Z, we must delve into the origins of Datsun itself. Founded in 1931 as a division of Nissan, Datsun initially produced small cars for the Japanese market. However, it wasn't until the 1960s that Datsun began to gain international recognition. By the late 1960s, Datsun had set its sights on the American market, aiming to compete with the established European sports cars. Enter the 240Z, unveiled in 1969 as a sleek, affordable alternative. The 240Z wasn't just a stylish coupe, it was a performance machine. Powered by a spirited inline-six engine, it offered an exhilarating driving experience at a fraction of the cost of its European counterparts. This combination of performance, reliability, and affordability made the 240Z an instant hit. Throughout the early 1970s, the 240Z dominated the racing scene, winning numerous championships and earning a reputation for its agility and speed. But it wasn't just on the track where the 240 made its mark. Today, the legacy of the Datsun 240Z lives on, cherished by collectors and enthusiasts alike. Its timeless design and groundbreaking performance continue to inspire new generations of automotive enthusiasts, ensuring that the spirit of the 240Z will never be forgotten. For those who experienced it and those who continue to discover its story, the Datsun 240Z remains a true automotive legend. Luckily, my friend Nick owns one of these awesome machines from 1972, and I've got him here with me to tell his story.
So this is a 72 Datsun 240Z. My father purchased it in 1982 in San Diego. It's a family vehicle we've had in our family for 40 years now. It was originally a California vehicle, and then when my dad bought it in 82, we were living in San Diego at the time, and he bought it at a lot there in Poway, California. My father was in the Navy, so during the time of the 80s, he would be out on his cruises and so forth. So my brother and sister and I would drive it through high school and college. So that was a great experience back then. Originally, the color was different. It was the yellow lime green color, as you can see on the hood, but it was painted at some point before my father purchased it. So what you see, this particular vehicle is almost identical to what it was when he purchased it in 82. And I was kind of reluctant of doing anything to it at this point. I kind of wanted to keep right. The history and keep it as stock as possible. See, a couple other things to point out. It's a 72 240Z. The wheels are different, so they changed the wheels. These are not stock 72 wheels. These are actually 280Z wheels. My father painted the red in there to kind of give it a little bit of a flair to it there, and then the caps came along with it.
How does it get the model 240 compared to the other ones?
Interesting, yes. So 240Z, which came out in 69 for Datsun, the 240 stands for 2.4 liter. The way Datsun made the models is as they went along, they increased the number for the liters proportionately. So from 69 to 74, I believe, they used the 240. And then in 74, 75 time frame, they went to 260. And then from that period on, they went to 280, and so the 2.4 liter, 2.6 liter, 2.8 liter is how they get the model gets its designation. The Datsuns between 69 and 71 are considered the first generation, and then from 72 on, they call it the second generation. The first generations are highly collectible. There are not too many of those on the road anymore. And the ones that have been restored, to concourse levels, and they're bringing quite a bit of money on them. But the early generation had a different type of emblem here, and a couple other little things in there. But essentially, it's the same vehicle, same exact motor, but there were just a couple little smaller details that distinguished the first generation versus the second generation. And then as they went, of course, in 74, 75, the energy crisis took place, and that's when they went to the 260. I think only built the 260 single year.
Really?
Yep. And they did a lot of smog modifications to to the engine at that time frame. Then they went into 280Z, 280ZX Turbo, and they went to a couple different models from that point there. So the first generation, again, had a different badge here, emblem here, and the back of the hatch had a couple different vents here. They did away with those there.
Yeah, that's something I was looking at when we came up, was the bumper.
Yeah, the bumper is interesting. The Datsun purists, many of them don't care for the bumpers, the handlebar look to it. I think of it as a great, if I'm in a bogged down somewhere, that's an extra handle that I can push the car with.
yeah, I like it. It gives a little style to it.
Yeah, but the purist Datsuns out there that are heavily modded, sometimes they've taken the bumpers off and everything. So this particular model is an automatic. From a Datsun purist standpoint, it's more of the red-headed stepchild. I kept it automatic these years, but I do have a 240ZX 5-speed transmission that I did purchase here a couple years ago. So phase 3 of the vehicle is going to be to move it from a automatic transmission to a standard transmission. And from my research and from the people I've worked with have told me the swap is very easy to do. It's just a few little things here and there. And that's the nice thing about these vehicles, is they're easy to work on and the parts are very readily available too. Back in 2006, I expressed interest in bringing it out here. I flew out to California, got everything out of the garage where I can get to the vehicle. I had a friend come and help me get it to a rolling level because the rear brake drums were already seized up, so we had to get those sorted out and put new tires on them at that point because they were shot. So that was in 2006. It wasn't until 2008 that I actually pulled the trigger and had it shipped out to Wichita. The transport company that shipped it, I wasn't there when he put it on the bed. And when he put it on the bed, he couldn't get it on with that front fairing. So the bright individual as he said, well, I'll put it on backwards. So somewhere in between Downey, California and Wichita, the original vehicle had louvers on this window here. When I received it in Wichita, the louvers were gone. And I also noticed I had a bunch of holes on the front, or at least not holes, we had a bunch of dents in the front on the top of the roof of the vehicle. So somewhere between Downey and Wichita, the wind caught this, blew it up, and banged it there several times.
Because the angle of the louvers.
Exactly, yeah. It
became an airplane.
It became an airplane and it flew off somewhere. So somewhere in New Mexico, there was some louvers. The way I look at the vehicle, and I don't have any intentions of restoring this to a concourse level. I just want to have it so it looks good, from 10 to 15 feet away, preserve its heritage, preserve its family, sentimental value to it.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy driving it, not have to worry about someone
Exactly, yeah. As soon as I put
touching it or,
I put a $10,000 paint job on here, I'm not going to want to do anything but just look at it. So after I got the vehicle back in 2008 here to Wichita, a year or two before then, I ran into a gentleman here in Wichita who had a 240Z Series 1 vehicle that he did an LS swap on. And he helped me work on this on the weekends. So for a period of about 8 months, we had it over as in a house. On the weekends, would work on the various elements of the vehicle. Since it wasn't running when it came here, I had to get to the point where I had to really get it transmission refreshed and get the engine refreshed so that it would be a drivable vehicle. So some of the things we did on there was all the seals. We went and bought seals. I did some carpeting. Got a few pieces I still need to put in. We took the head off of the engine and I had it machined appropriately. Got a new radiator, shocks. We lowered it a little bit. Did some things. We just had to get it back to a drivable condition.
All right, we're all set. Ready for smoke test?
Smoke test.
Smoke test. All right. Here we go. So we got 20 years. The 240Z is back on the road.
In honor of my dad, he worked for the Navy and he was in the Sundowners with the F-14s there. So I kept the sticker on there for that sake as well.
Well, can we go ahead and take a ride?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Nice little sports car.
Yeah. So you'll notice what time it is.
240.
It's always 2:40 in this 240.
That's nice. You get a 260, you'll leave it at, well,
Oh, yeah,
you can't
you
even
can.
do that.
It'd be at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
That would be a 300Z.
300Z, yeah. I guess the 240s.
Yeah,
and the,
yeah. 240, 260. Well, you
and the
can't do
300s.
you can't do it. You can't do it.
See, it's special in
that's
more
right.
way than one.
That's right.
More
Yep.
ways than one.
Yep.
I like the styling of the dash.
Yeah, this particular dash is a cap. So the original dash probably had some cracks in it.
Right.
And I believe my dad probably did put the cap on here, so he purchased that back there in 81, 82.
I like how you sit back in this. It really feels like it's,
Yeah.
you're strapped in and ready to go.
Yeah. Compared to vehicles today, it's like a go-kart.
Yeah, the size of
you're
them.
low to the ground, and knowing the mechanics of it, there's not really much to it.
I like how you can, it's up high enough just for your
Yeah.
arm to sit on. And
Yeah.
Is there like a Datsun club here in town or anything like that, or is there a large group of enthusiasts or
There's
individuals?
a
around here?
small group of enthusiasts, like I mentioned, but we don't have a formal club or anything like that. I've run across maybe about a dozen people who have Datsun here in town.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a network of people to be able to throw ideas at,
Yeah.
or if you have a problem and they're just as enthusiastic about your car, their car as yours. And I noticed too, this has dual carburetors.
Yes, it does have dual carburetors. Two times the fun, 2 times the headache. As I mentioned earlier, in order for me to get this to drive as we did today, it took me about an hour to kind of fiddle around with it. I don't have them adjusted properly. There's a lot of technique and a lot of ways of adjusting those carburetors, temperature, and the way the carburetors are put. So each time running it, I have to spend an hour fiddling with it, caressing it, rubbing it the right way, getting it to the way it needs to be, and then it gets to be operational.
but you enjoy tinkering with it.
Absolutely,
And that's part of it. It's not just driving it. It's tinkering it.
Right.
It's more, to me, something like that would be mental therapy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even if it's an hour or 10 minutes before
Sure.
you drive it.
Yes. The nice thing is they're easy to work on, very simple. They're your basic. It's your basic vehicle with basic components. It's like a Swiss watch. You just have. There's no computers that have to be done to make it operate and everything. It's all mechanical. So that's a lot of satisfaction I have with being part of that,
exactly.
making those adjustments.
And if it stops running, you're not dealing with a computer. You can,
Right.
deductive reasoning mechanically,
Yeah.
air, fuel.
Yep.
I think Datsun really designed these well.
Yeah, they did. And again, it was a vehicle for lots of people to purchase, because of course everybody wanted a Porsche back then, but they were expensive. And
Right.
when Japan came out with the Datsun, and they created an affordable sports car, it really took off for that decade that it was in production.
I know, like the design on the headlights, the bezel and everything, that it reminds me of one of those 50s model Ferraris
Right.
back in I think they were like the 250 GTs or something like that, 240 GTs. It was similar to that, but it
Right.
just looked, it's just a timeless
Yeah.
design. And the legroom. I love the legroom in this. It's just great.
Yep. It is a comfortable ride.
Being a taller,
Yeah.
both of us being taller, it just feels like it's very comfortable, and it leans back. You know, you just feel, and it feels like it can probably take some corners in its day.
Oh yeah. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, Nick. I hope I'm going to continue learning more and more about these vehicles, and maybe one day I might even own one of these after learning about them or riding with you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you taking time to show this beautiful car off. All right, everyone, we just finished up checking out this Datsun. I want to give a big thank you to Nick for letting us check out his car for our first video of Dude with an Autotude. Also, I want to thank you all for watching this video and appreciate you for all of your support. And if you haven't done so yet, click that subscribe button down below for me. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next time on Dude with an Autotude.